All right. So, hello, everyone, and welcome to Simply Organic Beauty's Salon Summer School Week 7, Salon Suite Week. This is our final week of our amazing business boot camp we've had here, and thank you so much for joining us. So, let's get started. If you don't know us by now, I'm Ashley, and I'm the marketing director at Simply Organic Beauty. One of my biggest passions is helping small and creative entrepreneurs take themselves to the next level. And I really think with Salon Suite Week, we're going to be breaking into a lot of that solo entrepreneurship and how to optimize and really get your focus. And I'm going to let Rebecca introduce herself.
Hi, Rebecca, Education Director and Technical Director for the company, Simply Organic Beauty. But I'll tell you, I'm one of you as well. So, as much as I love education, we're always learning. And as creative beings, I've really enjoyed putting this program together with Ashley and team. However, I've learned so much from just putting this together with and for you. So, I know this is kind of a wrap up week 7, but we have so much more. And we're really intrigued about what you're thinking you might want to learn more from in this year. 2018 is about to start up, and we have plenty of time to add to our education calendar as far as what you need, what you're looking for. I think the beauty business is really coming to a great place, and we're all part of that. So thanks for being part of our tribe and tuning in with us. We're going to share with you all about some ideas for Salon Suite Week, which doesn't take out the factor of all of the larger salons or stylists that are out there that want to learn, because there's always something in our program for everyone. So thank you, all of you, for joining us today.
Yes, absolutely. Like I said before, this is not just going to be for suite owners. There is going to be a focus there, but there's some tax optimization strategies that you're all going to want to stick around for. So wait around to the end, as this will be the final class of our 7 weeks. But it all goes in to our master plan and kind of what Rebecca was just saying about Simply Organic Beauty. We're finalizing our 2018 education calendar, and we're really looking forward to continue to help you pioneer and revolutionize your career, businesses, and just overall passions. So hopefully we've helped you elevate and change your career for the better. So as I do every week, I'm going to run through the master plan. As you know, it's 4 ways that you really grow and optimize your business. So the first one is to increase your number of clients. We've been talking about attracting new clients through our website design, our search engine optimization, Yelp reviews, social media. And all of these things certainly do play a role in Salon Suite Week. So we may be making references to these classes moving forward. So now you know where they are.
Where they fit.
Exactly. They're also on our YouTube channel, but we can send you the links no matter what. The second one is increasing your average transaction, and this is boosting your client value. We covered this a lot during client love and loyalty with rewards programs and retail and service sales, and how we get our certain number of clients now to spend more with us, because it's much easier to get those people to spend more with you than it is to acquire a new client. The third was increasing purchase frequency, and this is how you incentivize people to be repeat buyers. We talked about that a lot during social media week 3 and client love and loyalty. And then our fourth and final way you grow your business is to work smarter, not harder, through optimization. This could be taxes, business management systems, hiring and training, which we covered in week 5. So this is our final one, Salon Suite Week, week 7.
Woohoo!
Yippee! So you ready, Rebecca?
I am.
All right, guys, let's get started. 6 secrets to Salon Suite Success. And I'm going to let Rebecca take it from here. But the first one, the foundational piece, especially when you decide to go into business for yourself, is mindset. The mind is everything. What we think, we become.
So we talked earlier in some of the sessions about focusing, what you focus on really growing. And it's all about getting yourself involved in owning your business. You are now a business owner as a salon suite owner. So you have to get into the mindset of being an entrepreneur and really focusing on what you're after and what you want to gain out of owning your own business. There's so much to think about. It is very, very exciting to own your own business, but there's some things that we must think about to make that completely your brand completely successful. So we're going to talk about your brand, your mission, and all your systems, as well as your responsibility to all of this to make yourself that successful.
Yes. So these, like I said, these are extremely important. And we've covered a lot of these throughout the salon summer school, talking about your brand, your mission, and your systems. So now I have a list of non negotiables. I think throughout this training, I've been telling you it would be nice if you did this. You'd see a return if you did this. Well, as a salon suite owner, you're a one man show or one woman show or whatever gender you identify with. And these are the four non negotiables. Website, you have to have it. I don't care if it's through through Solo Studios, through Wix, through Squarespace. Social media marketing, absolutely necessary considering most salon suites see less foot traffic. That is a fact. I mean, some have great locations and great reputations, but for the rule of thumb, you'd see a lot less natural foot traffic. Your email list, you're going to have that dedicated amount of people you can have a newsletter and jet promotions out to. It's important more than ever. Another non-negotiable is a appointment management system. You have to have some type of appointment management system in place that can help your people book appointments, give them a confirmation text or call, and even sending them a thank you after they leave. Most of us don't have an assistant anymore that can do these things for us. So an appointment management system is going to be key. I think that's really going to be helpful also if you implement online booking, because you're not going to have to be answering your phone every time someone calls you to book an appointment. In fact, I might even push some of my clients to go book online because they can see the slots that are available to them. And it's just less time you have to spend on the phone and more time you can spend dedicated to your client. The other third non negotiable is business management tools. This is everything from your payment processor, like Square or Clover if you're using Bank of America. Oh, and your appointment management system would be in there as well. Also, your taxes. You need to be keeping detailed records of your purchases and your transactions, service sales, product sales. So you really need to have something that's going to help you do that. Even inventory management module will be key. As again, you are a one-man show. You're not only the artist and the creative person, you're going to have to run the entire business holistically. And then another non-negotiable that we just don't have an option anymore is studio organization and optimization. Some of us are operating out of 150 square foot spaces, extremely tiny. So having a knack for organization and optimization is not only going to add to your sanity, but it's going to help your client's experience as well, because a lot of these studios can get cluttered very quickly. So we're going to have a lot of tips in there today, but those are my four non-negotiables, things that you can no longer ignore as a salon suite owner. So we're going to move right into some of these and breaking it up. Unless, Rebecca, you have something you want to add as a non-negotiable that's just not on here today.
No, these are awesome, of course, and honestly, we've talked about this, like we said previously, but really how important it is to update the status of your business web page, like almost daily. You always want to continue to announce services or all those specials and do that with excitement and energy. You should continuously do what we talked about up here with your website and posting pictures of your work, because a lot of times we get overwhelmed. We get excited first about opening our own salon suite, and then we get a little bit like overwhelmed because now we're running an entire business and we didn't realize all that went into, say, business management, like we mentioned in number 3 there. So being organized within that and really knowing what you're out for, because you want to always make sure that that business management and those tools are helping you and assisting you in making those appointments, like she said, so that you get those people back in and frequented. But also, you could offer free gifts to those that comment on your pictures or updates, or, if they have any questions about their hair. The one thing I always say is, say I do a Smooth Rituals keratin treatment. I like to show how that has worn. So I'll take pictures of my clients and then I ask them to send me more so that they can see how that Smooth Rituals keratin is working, so that others can see that. So really having the tools to support you in your business is key before even getting into your own entrepreneurship.
Absolutely. And we cover a lot of methods for content creation and curation during our social media class, which was week 3. We talk about the website and your personal brand in week 1, and then optimizing that around Google search and reviews in week 2. So we're not going to get into a lot of those in depth because we have whole segments on them, but I'm just letting you know now that they're no longer nice to haves, they're non-negotiables. Right. So we're going to move forward into some more optimization things for your space, but please review those segments we already have for you. I just don't want to sit here and repeat it, especially if you've been on these segments before. So they'll be integral to you making this transition from salon to studio. And before we even break into some of our bigger detail things, I do want to point out some pros and cons of leaving your salon owner to go to a studio. And some of you be like, oh, yeah, I know these. But sometimes it's just nice to hear it from someone else, especially because Rebecca, she's been it all. She's been salon owner, booth runner, sweet person. So she can really speak to the pros and cons of doing it. We've already alluded to some of them, being that you're a one-man show and that you don't have most of the time don't have an assistant. But there's some other pros and cons too. Some pros is a lot of these salon studios will give you a budget for retail and they'll already have the furniture there. So your startup cost for a salon suite could be a lot less than going out on your own salon. But a con perhaps could be is that you're kind of stunted with your growth a little bit. It's kind of going to be hard to expand, which is fine because maybe when you're ready, you can move spaces. But there are cons every time you keep moving around, you lose clients. And then, of course, the whole moving thing is always treacherous no matter what you're doing. So I'm going to let Rebecca slowly break into those pros and cons, and then we're going to get to those secrets of living your best salon suite life. I just wanted to address the reality of doing it and not discourage you, but just, want to keep you rooted in logic and things that are going on. So go ahead, Rebecca.
Well, first off, it can be really scary because you're now typically going from a large space where there's a lot of activity and action and a lot of these other, let's say, people are bringing clients to you, where once you get into a salon suite, you're relying a lot on the clients that you left with. And sometimes that works out really well for you and sometimes it doesn't. But it's all about the environment that you're bringing these clients into and keeping it the same. You want to stay steady. So you want to keep giving them the great service that they're used to. You want to work hard, but you also really want to continue your follow up, just like maybe the receptionist did for you at the time. You want to be really accommodating and be steady and true to your brand. So don't ever forget what your brand, meaning yourself, is. And then also communicating with your clients, making sure that you're doing all the back end necessary, because it can be pretty lonely in a salon suite, but it's just you and your client. And as you fill that space with your clients and you're busy, you're going to notice that it can be a beautiful flow for you too, because you get to control the entire environment. So making sure you know that you are really taking on your own business and you have a lot of things to keep up with. It can be extremely fun, but it can also be a little bit, it's very crucial in the first stages to really, really get your flow going with your business and making sure you manage it just like it is your business. And you can't just kind of forget that you are your product a lot of times.
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, this is not to discourage anyone from going out on your own. Most of us that want to go out on our own, like we'll work 60 hours a week for ourselves to avoid working 30 to 35 hours a week for someone else, because you can feel it in your DNA. You can feel it when it's time to move on. So listen to that gut instinct, listen to yourself, but also stay grounded in some of the realities, or I would say challenges that are going to need to be overcame. So let's move right into it, shall we?
Yeah.
So let's talk about your space. This is an extension of your brand in real life, and it's extremely important to keep your small space looking clean, organized, and neat. So keep marketing materials relevant and at a minimum, keeping your floor space as clear as possible. And if it is possible, I would start building up vertically instead of on the ground. Because like I said, most of us don't have the space on the ground to keep adding more displays and other things. So look at moving up and vertically. I'm going to let Rebecca touch on the next couple of bullet points here.
So a lot of times we forget as stylists, that retail is a huge percentage of our income. So making sure you keep those retail shelves stocked. So even if you're small, you can be mighty. And so it's so hard at first because honestly, some of the largest expenses, starting out are rent, your ongoing supplies. So not just thinking of back bar, we're really looking at continuing to offer your retail because that is one of the easiest ways to keep ourselves in business in our new salon suite. So you also have to really consider, like Ashley sort of mentioned here, do you want a large suite with lots of windows, or is it more of a smaller space with no outdoor view? So what is that premium look for you going to be? And so that you can have a nice retail area and have it stocked. Um, and keeping that sensible. So you want to maintain that sensible layout to your products on your shelves, making your area really beautiful and clean and unique. And then always display. We mentioned this last week in our merchandising and retail segment, but really looking from left to right by usage. So your smaller items or your lighter ones to larger and darker. And then just stay on brand. I mean, for me, it was super easy for me when I was in a larger space to have all the retail at my hand, to offer to my clients. And I always offered the retail that I was recommending to them and sharing how to use them with them and continuing to educate my clients on their final look so that they felt beautiful leaving inside and out. But I wanted to stay true to brand when I go into my own space because they are already buying those retail products from me. And that's just part of who I am. It's what I offer, it's what I believe in. And so I made sure to stay on brand in my space. And so you're going to see a couple unique little beautiful pieces here in the next slide. So I'll let Ashley jump into that.
Exactly. And then your space, it really is an extension of who you are, just as if you were a large salon owner. So this space needs to also be your sanctuary. Uh, no one likes feeling like they have to go into a place they don't like to be. And for finally, as a salon suite owner, you're in control of the energy, the look, the feel, the brand, everything. So keep all of that in mind. And this is a photo by one of our Holistic Hair Tribe members, Jamie Fellows. I love her use of space here.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
Yep, she uses her station very well, and then has really maximized having shelves. There's, as you can tell, there's not a lot of noise on the floor. I think the mirror being as large as it is too helps the space look bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to talk a little in a little while how lighting and mirrors can help your space appear bigger, as well as some other great ways you can sell retail without actually having to have the inventory there. But we'll get to that in a little bit. Don't want to give away the farm right now. So. And just to kind of backtrack on what I was saying about lighting and mirrors and the science of scent. So you have a small space, but that doesn't mean that you can't have an experience. I think we've been harping pretty much every single segment about owning that experience from the moment they book an appointment to when they go home. And of course, all the time spent in the salon in between. So I think personally, if you're in our holistic organic space, having essential oils going that are signature to your salon really helps you not only relax your client, but there's neurochemicals involved in making memories with the science of scent. So again, not to knock on ammoniated products, but you do want to think about the services that you're offering because it's such a small space, and you may have been used to doing perms or something in a much larger space, and it didn't bother you or your clients, but it's a lot smaller. So we're going to want to make sure we can intrigue the senses both with scent and the proper lighting and mirror layout to really give them an experience. So moving right into retail, be purposeful, be strategic, and be picky. I'm going to let Rebecca talk about this a little more.
So with me, I keep harping on the fact that when I have a small space, you're basically looking at a very small, maybe 150 square foot space. And you want to make sure that when you're picking and choosing your retail to carry, that A, it's it's items that you would recommend to your clients that feel good to your brand, as well as really being strategic in picking them. Because a lot of times when you're in a smaller salon environment, the owner can buy almost 2 to 3 to 6 of everything. But when you're looking at a smaller space, you don't want to overwhelm them either. So I still like to offer all of the same care products and styling products, but I'm really focused on the niche environment that I've chosen, being an holistic organic brand. So I'm super picky about the things that I'm going to bring in my small space. As we mentioned before, I only use hair color that is non-ammoniated and healthy for me as well as my clients, and also what's going to perform at the highest level, because anybody can purchase, honestly, a lot of these retail, even the higher end supposed beauty products out there. But being a niche myself, I'm not only selling myself as a brand in a niche, I'm selling my retail that way. So I'm very, very strategic in what I choose for my clients and what I'm offering, and I don't overwhelm them.
Absolutely. And it just further talks about your retail being an extension of your brand, but also take a look inside and think about who are your clients?
Mm-hmm.
Do you do a lot of mostly curly haired clients? Well, then maybe just carrying curly products at first when you're
Right.
first getting started is going to be a better focus. So while I know starting your own business, it's a lot of it you're thinking about me, but don't forget to look outwards as well. So to not overlook something.
Right, because we know our favorites for our clients, and we know the biggest things that we recommend. But sometimes starting with that and knowing that the return on that is so valuable, we're making a huge profit on our retail options. That's only going to put money back in our pocket to start branching out and picking up those extra needs that we have for our clients' retail.
Absolutely. So I'm going to show you a little example here. This is Alchemy Salon in Ozona. Heather Giro. She has really created a beautiful space for herself here. And this is only 300 square feet, but doesn't it look so much bigger? She's fortunate enough to have room for a focus table, which we did talk about in our last week, visual merchandising. So, but I just wanted to give you an idea of kind of what you can do with a smaller space. So maybe you're not always operating within a salon suites or a solo studios. Maybe you just overall have a small space. And I just think there's many different ways you can explore it. So I like her mood lighting, her floor space, the focus table, and this is all done with 300 square feet. And I've been in Heather's salon firsthand, and I can tell you that the energy she has put forth into it, you can feel it as a client walking in. So here's just a fun example on what you can do with some retail in a smaller space, but not necessarily a suite. So, this is what we were talking about earlier about retail and not necessarily having to have an entire inventory on staff. Well, they're not staff members, but they might as well could be.
Yeah.
They make you money. Staff
Little
stocks,
soldiers.
same
It's
thing.
fine.
So, let's talk about dropship programs. Less inventory, more opportunity. I'm sure everyone's minds are spinning like, what could this be? What could this be? So let's talk about it real quick. So Simply Organic is one of the only businesses that actually offer this to our stylists. And before you say anything, it's like drop shipping. What is it exactly? It's basically where we ship your clients the products they ordered from you for you. So I'm sure your first question is, isn't that diversion? Isn't that diversion? My answer is no. Here's why, because we are never collecting, as a distributor or a wholesaler, we are never ever collecting payment from consumers or clients. They're never making purchases from us. It's only being made from you and your recommendations. So whether you're doing this in the salon or you have an online store, there's a lot of opportunity here for you yourself to sell your clients these products without actually having to have the stock. You just have to let them know. It will be 1 to 2 days, 2 to 3 days, depending where you are in the United States. But you have the opportunity to send them product no matter where they are. Maybe you have a client that only sees you 6 months a year. Well, now you have an opportunity to service them and continue making money even when they're not in your region. So let's just breeze through it real quick here. How does it work? You make the recommendation. Hopefully the stylist purchases. I'm not the stylist, the consumer or customer purchases. Then you are collecting payment for the product, not us. And then you send your order in wholesale payment to us, and we fulfill with the address. We remove the price, the wholesale price that you paid. So you'll never have to worry about your clients seeing what you pay for products. And then it gets shipped directly to their door. It's not always I wouldn't say you want to drop ship all of your retail sales, because there is a convenience fee to getting products shipped, because you are shipping products to people. And as you know, you have to pay money for shipping, or the client does. But if you don't have something in stock, I love calling products staff today. Your staff. If you don't have products in stock, you now have the ability to service and help your clients out by sending them to it through our dropship program. So that's, I think, a really big opportunity for some salon suites out there that can't necessarily hold every single retail product, because maybe just not everyone's going to have a use for OA precious wax, but the ones that do, you're now going to be able to service them. So as we move on to retail, we're going to be talking about networking in your community. And I'm going to let Rebecca take it from here. But this quote is extremely popular. It's called, "Your network is your net worth." And as a local business owner, because that's what you are now, this couldn't ring more true. So I'm going to let her break into some of these networking tips and things that you can do to continue to make partnerships with people in your community.
So there's a lot of networking we've already talked about in previous sessions, but I mean, as a salon suite owner, you're always on. So you have to always be networking and always be part of the local business areas and the community relations that comes with. So whether it's joining the Chamber of Commerce, or finding a lot of networking groups that are in your local area. It can be anything from restaurant owners to florists. I've seen everything from healthcare reps, etc. So really getting out there and networking and doing some partnerships, even in your own salon suites. So yes, the lady across the way may be a stylist as well, doing hair. But, she may take a week off. And if you've made great partnerships with these people, there's a way to network within that same environment. We're going to talk about that. But as far as making those salon suite partnerships, maybe making sure that you reach out. Because, for example, my cousin is a salon suite owner in Indianapolis, and she's an esthetician. So she ended up being lucky enough to be the only esthetician in her group there at the salon suites. So the first thing she did was make sure she went around and offered some complimentary services to some of the other salon suite owners so that she could get her name out there. And now, after less than 1 year, she is 100%, actually more like 200% booked, if that could even happen, to where she is so busy that she can hardly stop. And she's loving her life now. And she took a jump of faith and started her own entrepreneurship in that salon suite. But it certainly worked out for her, because she went out and really communicated with all of them, shared her cell phone, gave them her hours, and really hit the market running that way. So doing some salon suite partnerships really was favorable for her entire business flow. I mentioned this, being part of the Chamber of Commerce, introducing yourself and doing any of the events that they have in the local area. They can be a huge partner. Back in the day, I used to kind of scoff at this, but in recent years, I've seen a huge turnaround in our Chamber of Commerce in our local area. They've certainly sent us a lot of business. I always offer to do little extra add-ons or whatnot for some of the members or some of the higher ups in that chamber. And then they constantly are plugging me and putting my name and face out there. So it's a great opportunity for you to continue to grow your business so that you and your salon suite can make a lot of cash. So now I'm going to have Ashley and I are going to run through some tax ideas. I mean, this can sort of, as stylists, we think, the taxes. It can be very overwhelming, especially when you're starting your own salon suite. But, in the spirit of working smarter, not harder, we wanted to share with you a lot of these tax write-offs and helping you with some solutions to making more money or to keeping more in your pocket versus Uncle Sam.
Oh, Uncle Sam. He's always coming for the taxes. Oof. That's okay. Those pay for our roads and ways for people to get to our salon, right?
Right.
So that's what we tell ourselves. A salon owner is generally a target for the IRS because it is a cash-based business. So don't let that scare you or anything, but it is a reality of the situation. Cash-based businesses are under more scrutiny just because it's easier to hide income. So doing your taxes right is going to be very, very important. So going through what deductions are and expenses. Generally, a deduction is anything you have to spend money on to make money. So this could be retail products or equipment. An expense must be ordinary and necessary. An ordinary expense is one accepted in industry, and a necessary expense is one that is appropriate for business, maybe all general types of business. So let's run through some of these acceptable deductions. And don't worry about taking a lot of notes during this because we are going to have a downloadable list of acceptable deductions for both salons and suite owners available in 24 hours after this training. But we are going to run through them. So one of those can be hair care products and tools, salon furniture, equipment, training and continuing education, advertising and marketing, licenses and insurance, meals and entertainment. I'm sure maybe some of you didn't even think about doing meals or entertainment for as a deduction as a salon owner, but it's extremely important to kind of look at this as a whole and other ways you can write things off. Now, this isn't to say just because you're going out to dinner with one of your best friends who happens to be a stylist that this can be written off. But if it's business related, then absolutely, I would say do it. I think you're going to have to not quote me on this directly, but I think it's up to 50% of meals right now can be written off for taxes.
I believe it is, yeah.
Okay, great. And then yes. So don't forget about your training and continuing educations. This can be anything. This can be subscriptions to trade magazines, some of the education you go to for Simply Organic Beauty.
Yeah.
Even though we keep it nice and affordable, you can still write off the small amount that we charge you. Trade shows. And don't forget to include transportation and hotel and mileage on your car if there needs to be traveling to get to these trade shows or classes. Those are all things that can be written off. Also, if you have any online education subscriptions, videos, things like that. Luckily, Salon Summer School was absolutely free. So the only thing you had to pay for was your time. So let's also talk about capital expenses. So when you're starting up, there's actually a lot of write-offs that can be included for startups. So making sure you keep good records during your startup process is going to be integral. So a portion of startup costs are written off in your first year with the remainder that's depreciated annually over the next 15 years. So when you're starting up, you're going to want to really keep a thorough record of everything you're paying for. And with Section 179, you can write off newly purchased equipment up to $500,000. This includes furniture, office equipment, computers, even iPads. So don't forget about these things, printers, scanners. Like I know some salon suites do provide furniture, but don't forget about some of the other equipment that you're going to be accountable for and keeping track of what you paid it. Clothing is actually deductible too, but if it cannot be worn off the job, so aprons, capes, things like that are still deductible. Again, I spoke about licenses and certain services also to keep your business afloat. So salon cleaning services and supplies or getting your scissors sharpened, all these things can be written off. So make sure you're taking a thorough record of all these things. I wish I would have put this little thing up here for you guys because it's Rebecca and I's favorite thing and we geek out about it all the time. I think it's called a scan snap or a snap scan. So what this is, it's the coolest little thing. You scan all of your paper documents, receipts, bills, whatever, and it automatically digitizes it for you and puts it on your computer in a folder for you to organize. You no longer have to keep messy paper records. Again, being a small space, you probably don't want to keep all of those paper records. So look into those scanners that automatically digitize your bills for you, because that's going to make it even easier to stay organized and to not take up a lot of space. So I believe it's called a snap scan or a scan snap.
Yeah, they have a few of them, and guess what? You can write that off.
Yay! More write-offs, more money in our pockets for us to keep reinvesting into ourselves and our clients. So make sure we do all of these things. So another tip here would be incorporate yourself. Not only does this protect you um, in case of any lawsuits, but LLCs are just, they're not audited nearly as much as sole proprietors. So small businesses are a favorite target of the IRS, and for good reason. Self-employed people are more likely to underreport income and overstate deductions, and they make no distinction between whether you're high grossing or not. So if you're self-employed, so booth runners, we're also looking at you here. Consider incorporating or forming a LLC, because corporations and LLCs are audited less frequently than other small businesses, and incorporating or forming an LLC also allows for more deductions. So it doesn't cost much. I believe in Florida, if you're a Florida salon, you go to sunbiz.org and it costs maybe $100 to form an LLC.
Yeah, and I think you can just go online, you can fill out the form, pay the fee, and it's pretty much done. So, one of my advice pieces would be, you can always take, as far as new suite renters, you can really take the first year to sort of embrace all these changes that are coming with being a new owner, and then really decide. But honestly, it's super easy to do, and it certainly will help you in the long run.
Absolutely. And also there's some protection things too. If you're an LLC, it's limited liability for a reason.
Yep, it protects all your personal assets. So
yeah, and it doesn't cost much. So yep, it's perfect, and it'll help you with filing taxes. And if you're applying for business credit cards, it's a lot easier, and it really protects you. So even if you're a booth runner and you're not a suite owner, look into it. I think it's a really beneficial thing to have. So we talked about acceptable deductions. And all right, the jig is up. I didn't know this slide was coming next, but after this week, we are going to have a bonus session called The Business of Being Organic. We're going to go even further on the benefits, both mentally, spiritually, financially, of being organic or holistically minded in your space. So this one wasn't on our curriculum, but I had a lot of people asking about it in emails and things after class. So next week, I will be doing with Rebecca, The Business of Being Organic. And we're really going to break into the benefits of being so. Again, it's more than just financial. There's spiritual, mental benefits, and the longevity of your career choosing this path of a more organic and holistic lifestyle, or at least having options for people and yourselves. So we're going to be getting into that next week for a bonus session. But overall, thanks for joining us for Salon Summer School and Salon Suite Week. This was our last official class other than the bonus session, and you will officially be a Salon Summer School graduate after this. Look at Rebecca. She's so cute.
Well, thank you, everyone. I just love adding more classes to our curriculum. You know how that goes. So, education is power. And I hope we've really shared everything that you were looking to gain out of our sessions, because it's been a super fun time putting these together and learning so much more information. I mean, we're always changing and evolving. So I'm just excited to share a lot of the ideas of being organic in your business and really helping you to continue to brand yourself every single day behind your chair in your 5x5 space or wherever that may lead you. So thank you so much. I see we've got some questions we're going to try to answer. And so keep on the line with us for just a little bit longer, and we can help answer anything you've got.
Yes. So I had Natasha ask me about a week 2 topic. NAP is exactly from week 2 on page signals. Also, I'm thinking of going from booth rental to a salon suite. Any recommendations, especially on ways to make up and increase my weekly rent payout? So Natasha, I'll send you a little more info on NAP. It gets pretty technical, but I think we can absolutely right away here give you some tips from transitioning to booth rental to salon suite, especially on ways to make up and increase your weekly rent payout. That is what it says, I think I know what you're saying here. Sometimes going to a salon suite can be more expensive than being a booth runner in terms of rent. And I've seen some get ridiculously high. I mean, they're beautiful spaces, some of these, but I absolutely see where your hesitation comes from. I think Rebecca would be the best one to speak to this because she's done this transition firsthand. So I'm going to let her answer that question about transitioning from booth runner to suite owner and some tips to doing so successfully. Because you definitely have to have a plan before you just decide to get up and do that. And not just a plan to move into your salon suite, but also a plan on how was the most ethical and effective way to transition some of your clients too, because I know that it's a controversial and hot topic of whether clients belong to salons or stylists. So I'll let Rebecca kind of expand on that.
Okay, thanks. Number one, I mean, it can go from everywhere for it can quadruple when you go into a salon suite versus a renter. So really starting to ask yourself the why, like what is the importance? Why would you want to? Is it because the other people in the room are using ammoniated hair products, driving you out, changing the way you want to see yourself and your mission and goals? Because you really do want to be true to yourself, and being organic, that can be sort of a tight space, and actually it can help grow you. So my suggestion would be to always do the math. So, see what's really ahead for you in your business and sit down and take the time to write everything out. So, can you really, let's say, determine your income by estimating the number of clients that you are going to see in that first month and what the service charges are going to be? Because you're going to have to be very, very tight with watching, what your spend is at first. And that can be awesome because you may quadruple your clientele or be able to give yourselves that raise. I mean, it's a perfect opportunity to do that, just that. Um, because you're going to probably have since it's going to be unique to you, your space, then you can make it as beautiful and as accommodating and, get them on that sensory journey and really maybe changing it up a little bit. Things you didn't think you could do before because you were surrounded by others in the place you were renting. So you want to make sure you can like subtract all your true expenses, going through that tax write-off handout that we've got going to be attached to this webinar. Did you like sit there and maybe account for all of your startup costs separately? Because some of them you may not need right away, but you'll want to incorporate as soon as you start reaping the benefits of having that beautiful salon suite versus the rental area. So I recommend looking at about 3 months worth of business and living expenses and figure out how you're going to save, because you can easily make that back up. But it's all about doing that math. It's not something we're all comfortable with doing, but once you have a savings and a backup plan, that less stress you're going to have in that first 3 months. So you really want to make sure you give yourself an opportunity to be really creative rather than panicked. But you can do it an awesome transition, and it can be super fun to have your own beautiful space. And then sometimes if you talk, really shop around and look for the space in this a salon suite that's really getting some traffic, because even though I don't believe originally I didn't believe you could get a lot of foot traffic, there are beautiful salon spaces like the one I just visited in Indianapolis that has a lot of walk-in business or networking and so forth going on in there. A lot of these salon suites are going to offer you extra amenities, like maybe try and take advantage of their offer for the first 2 weeks free rent, or some of them I've even seen give you as much as like $500 in product cost. So a lot of these suites are being very competitive with what they're offering you. So really shop around, get a place that you're comfortable with, that's beautiful. My biggest suggestion before you commit is go to that salon suite. It's like buying a house. I used to visit the area at different times of day and look in the windows and go in and visit, so check it out and really kind of shop that salon suite that you're looking for. And, you can always use the money that they're giving you. Maybe if they are competitive in offering you a retail product value for startup, you look at maybe getting some promotions like what we offer here. Today's Monday. We have the product of the week special going on, and taking advantage of those so that you can get a lot of more dollar amount for your retail, and budget that in, because writing out all your startup costs from the rent to the licensure to your online booking, QuickBooks and your materials, you come up with your total expense, then come up with your gross income and the pre-tax profit from that, and then you're ready to go. So maybe that helped, I hope.
I found it helpful, Rebecca. And then I also, this is not just going to be a snap your fingers and all of a sudden you're in a salon suite, right? I think you need to be strategic about it, as what Rebecca said, really doing your research and figuring out those costs and weighing your different options, because a lot of times there are different salon suites out there. And I also think it's important that if you're going to go out on your own, that you really start looking at your own personal assets online. So your social media accounts, your website, get those things going with content of work you're doing now so you can start building a following before you leave. Because I think some of the biggest mistakes people make is they leave before they really have enough clients to follow them to their salon suite. And again, I think it's always, I don't know if it's, you're going from booth runner to suite, so it's not quite as bad. But for people that are going from commission based to suite, I know that can cause a lot of pain for the salon owners.
Yeah.
So I always think it's good to be upfront with them and let them, let them know when you're leaving. You don't have to tell them the exact moment you have the thought, but giving them an adequate enough time and just really, I just playing it the most ethical way you can before leaving. 'Cause you don't want to burn bridges. I'm not saying that your salon suite isn't going to work out, but if it didn't, at least you could maybe possibly go back to a salon if you kept that relationship open. So,
Well, we're all reputation based too. So you really want to keep that reputation high end. And I've seen people that have come and said, you know what, I really want to go out on my own. I'm looking in the salon suite, and you're being honest and ethical about your time and so forth. If you have signed a no compete, you really want to talk to them, because you can still go outside that mileage and still keep your clientele because you're branding yourself. But you really want to be fair to that business owner, because there's nothing like really damaging your own reputation in this business, and it really does come back to you. So being honest and ethical, like Ashley said, is really key for me.
so one of our questions is from June. She says, with online booking, my concern is clients that are repeat offenders, meaning that they are late, or clients that can't cross paths. How do you work around that? Are you saying they no show you, June, or they come in late? One thing I would definitely recommend is looking if it has an automatic text reminder of their appointment 24 hours before that, and email, as Rebecca said, because that will really help cut down on them forgetting they had an appointment or being late, because then it kind of gives you power too. If they're a repeat offender, maybe you tell them that I'm sorry, but I can't accept online bookings from you. You have to call me so I can talk to you. Or I've seen some stylists even just completely cut clients out altogether and refuse to take them after 3 to 4 repeats, because repeat offenders of not showing up, because I know it hurts, but it's unfair to you. That's your time you could have had with another client. You're losing money. It's literally like tossing money in the garbage every time someone does that to you. So if you want to keep them as clients, but it's really the online booking that makes them skip out, you may just want to tell them that they can't book online with you, and that if they do book online, then you won't honor the appointment. I know that's a little crazy to say, but just tell them that they can't do online booking. Or before you do any of those crazy steps, I would also just check into those reminders to see if there's text reminders or email reminders that you can send them. So that's one of my first things that I would look at, is make sure you're reminding them in an adequate amount of time. Rebecca, did you have a tip here?
Yeah, when you have people that are no shows or whatnot, use that time wisely. Don't just get disgruntled and angry and all that, because honestly, there's not a lot you can do at that point when they've done it. It can be super frustrating. I just had it happen to me the other day, and I haven't had it happen in so long, because I'm on an online booking schedule that really kind of reminds them. It also has them click on that they can confirm, which is super easy for my clients. So I know they saw it. um, but use the time wisely to maybe do a retail order, to call some new people, to do your Instagramming and your Facebooking and your advertising, and get creative with it, because you can change your mindset in just a blink of an eye. And the other thing I see that you're saying is not crossing paths. I've been in that situation, and it's hard, but to be honest with you, one of the best pieces of advice I was given was, you know, that's not my concern. My concern is to make them beautiful. My concern is not always to be concerned with who they have in their life that they can't see or cross paths with. It can be tough, but to be honest with you, when you take yourself out of that situation completely and aren't personal with it, it will change. And to be honest with you, people can adjust. The other thing that I like to do is, sometimes, depending on the sort of um, system that you're working on. Let's say you're with Vagaro or you're with Mind Body or Schedulicity or any of those bookings. A lot of times they have parameters you can set for specific clients. So if you do have a repeat offender, you might make sure that they only can book in certain times that you won't mind if they don't show up. Let's say it's on a weird end of the evening or a weird morning appointment that say they accidentally stand you up or whatever happens, because life does happen. And we all know it to happen. So I use that time, like I said, if it's a morning appointment, I think, okay, she didn't show and I'm not going to continue. And there's places you can hit in the program that allow them to either book, or maybe they have to call to book, or it doesn't show them any availability and they have to actually text or call you. And you can use that time wisely then, and it's not smack in the middle of your day.
Yeah, that's a great tip. That's a great tip to kind of use the software to your advantage.
Well, you like software, we know that.
I do. I love my software. I do. So David asked about staying on brand. I'm currently using in Davines and would really like to convert to OA. What are the best tips you have for helping the customers understand the shift for a new experience? Well, David, without getting in a direct head-to-head comparison, because I think Davines is great in a way that they have a commitment to sustainability, which I think is commendable. But let me ask you more about your brand. Are you an eco-friendly stylist? If that's the case, OA is going to be a great transition for you because OA has the amber glass experience and minimal packaging. So instead of being wrapped in more paper and more waste, OA is minimal. And that amber glass is actually a more sustainable packaging than plastic. It doesn't also inject or leach chemicals into the product that's within it. So amber glass is pure, clean, transparent, whereas unfortunately plastic, biodegradable or not, can leach harmful chemicals into our products. Also, thinking about it in the environment. So Rebecca and actually, we were just talking about this, about plastic and the buildup in our environment and ecosystems. And it's not just wildlife that have a problem with plastic, but it goes back to leaching some unwanted chemicals into our water supply and our oceans, because when you're talking about that amount of plastic, there are some adverse effects on our environment and the ecosystem in our bodies based on the chemicals used to make these plastics. So if you're an eco stylist, I would look in that amber glass really being a good selling point, because you get to upcycle things and it's actually less greenhouse gases to recycle amber glass than plastic. And eventually, plastic isn't even recyclable because it becomes weak and it cannot be reused. So I don't know if any of you knew that. Just because you can recycle plastic doesn't mean you get to recycle it forever. You may not be the last person that recycles it, but eventually plastic is weak and it has to be disposed of in ways that we don't want to talk about. But glass, on the other hand, especially amber glass, is strong and durable and is infinitely recyclable. So you can feel good that you're not adding to those greenhouse gases. Um, if you're if you're not an eco stylist, or I was just trying to go straight for what I think Davines' unique value proposition is as a product line, but OA has the sustainability factor I think that a lot of people like in Davines, but it also has some other beautiful things like the true farm to chair experience with their biodynamic organic fields in Italy, which is also a sustainable way to get natural ingredients into your products. Biodynamic is actually a step above organic in terms of ingredients and the way it works on the hair. They're more effective and sustainable. And there's a lot of pure essential oils in OA, which makes it more of a holistic experience than some other brands. And on top of that, just by looking at the ingredients list, OA is cleaner in that sense, if that's your brand. But I think Rebecca has a few more things she wants to add to that comparison. And I hope you didn't take that as a bash. It was just a true head-to-head comparison, because I think a company like that does do a lot of good in the world, and I don't want to be negative in any way. But sometimes when we're choosing things for our brand and our personal business, we do have to get into the nitty-gritty of the actual differences.
And as much as clients are fearful of change, they're also really excited about it. So One example is when we were first decorating our space, and everyone, my partner thought we had to do it all at once, and I thought, nope. You know what's unique about this is we're telling a story. So continuing to tell your story right here, what you're saying is you want to help customers understand your shift for a new experience. That's exactly what it is. So one cool thing that you can do is take your clients constantly on a on an experience with you every time they come in. I love when they come in, they're like, oh, those flowers are fresh, those are new, or I didn't notice that over there before, is that new? They love to come in and get that. So my one recommendation would be to make a little mirror card, or wherever you can put it, and maybe saying like, I'm a pioneer for the best in this industry, and I'm committed to the value of what I offer you, something unique and sweet and cute. And they may read it while they're getting their hair done, and they'll ask you why, and say, well, I'm constantly a pioneer for change in this industry, and I'm looking for healthier options to work with the fabric of your hair and everything else about you and your being. And so I am constantly looking for better solutions for your hair type and your wellness and so forth. And so I've been looking at these, and make them a part of your decision. Show them the beautiful packaging. Talk to them about having the ultra red infrared iron option for rebuilding and reconstructing brittle hair and damaged weak hair, and keep them on this journey with you, because if they feel a part of it, they will never leave you. They will be your most loyal and your best ones. So your best fans, keep them excited, and maybe make a note, or tease them into it. Say, I've been looking for something beautiful and new for you. And they just will get excited as well.
Absolutely. And we talked about that, about staying fresh as a salon suite owner. It's going to be important that you constantly look at new and exciting things to introduce to your clients. It doesn't always have to be new products. And if you're in the middle of trying to make a transition, I always recommend people take it step by step. It doesn't mean you have to get rid of all the products you currently have, because obviously your clients like them, or they wouldn't be there for you to go buy and get them. So anytime you're embarking on a journey with a new brand or a new product line, I still think having the old in with and the new at the same time is a good way to kind of baby step into a new experience. But once you're there, I think Rebecca hit the proverbial nail on the head. Especially with OA, it's so easy to have a beautiful experience. Going back to that science of scent, I'm not sure if you've tried a few smatterings of the products yet, David, but the scents of the OA products are just, there's nothing else like it. And I think Rebecca and I are both product junkies, and sometimes just even buying like consumer branded products that say they're organic just to test them. I mean, it's a special line, and the good they do in the world, the fair trade ingredients, the sustainability, the farming, and then the scents and the performance in your chair. I think you'll really be impressed. And like Rebecca said, the story around OA also becomes your story too. Because when you get to tell people about the farms and the cute little donkeys running around, and share with them the marketing materials and the fact that you've been on a hunt for something new and exciting to bring to them, I think it only makes you stand out more. Mm-hmm. So don't forget that every brand you choose, their story becomes your story. So I would say make sure it's something worth telling.
Yeah, and they love talking about it, so you'll see that too, and it gets your business excited again. I love to be excited in where I'm at, So just doing that, and this brand is so fun to learn every single day. I'm learning something new about an ingredient or a trend or any of that, and it's just, when you're pumped, your clients are pumped, and your money will be pumped. Your bank account will be pumped. So just looking at all that, it makes for a fulfilled life too. So.
Absolutely. And again, I hope you just took that as a true, just answer your question. I hate doing brand to brand comparisons, because I think everybody has something special to offer. Yeah. But you asked, so we told. He's more of a hairdresser for men, David says, and I'm specifically interested in converting them to OA shampoos from what he's currently using. David, I really think you and Rebecca, you guys got to have a powwow, because she is also super into men's grooming, and I don't know if you know this, but her grandpa was Al Capone's barber. How sweet is that? I think you guys need to have a personal one-on-one chat about the exact products that you can transition them to. And There's actually some really cool things with an Oway skincare line that are cool, really great for men as well. So I think you and Rebecca need to have a powwow about men's grooming and Oway because there's a lot of options we have through the styling line.
Anytime, anytime. Just call me. We'll chat.
How do we charge for shipping, says Marie. I'm guessing you're asking about the drop ship program. So you can factor it. Here's what we recommend. We recommend that either you completely pass it off to your client, charging a flat rate, or you split the cost. So let's say the shipping is $10, you pass $5 off onto your client, and then you spend the five. And you may say, well, doesn't that cut into my profit? Not necessarily, because you didn't have to buy the product, ship it to yourself, and put it on your shelf, leaving you more space for other things that you sell on the regular. So, and then again, I would also tell them it's more of just a convenience fee. So, but if you can still order it for them and maybe they can just come pick it up in the salon if they don't want to have it shipped to their door. But if it's me, like traveling and things like that, if I'm going to be in one place for a long amount of time, I think it's a great option for my stylist to be like, well, I can ship that to you whenever you need it. One of our Holistic Hair Tribe members, she's moving from her salon in another state to a completely other state. And I don't know if she's going to be working in a salon, but because she kept such a good relationship with her clients, she told them, she's like, guess what? I can still provide you with Oway because of the drop ship option that we have here at Simply Organic Beauty. So I just think it's a little bit of a convenience fee for them, but you can also split it and it's not that big of a deal. So that would be my recommendation there. Kathy says, thank you so much for another great class. Thank you for joining us, Kathy. I hope you learned a lot. Sarah says, do you know the proper way to 1099 to bring on an apprentice legally? Would they need to be their own LLC, even though they're within a salon? Well, I guess it always depends how you're compensating them. If you're going to be paying them hourly or so I think you need to kind of look into your compensation plan for that, Sarah. But I'm going to write down that question for you and provide you with a couple of different options that breaks it down. So, all right, here, just writing down your question, Sarah, to make sure we can kind of spell out all those options for you. When it comes to taxes and things like that, I big believer it's easier to have it all on paper. That's why we're going to be sending you guys that deduction list in 24 hours because us just talking and saying it may not be as easily understood whether when it's on paper. So I'm going to make sure we get that answer.
And I'm sure it varies state by state. So your accountant would honestly be able to give you the proper forms too, so.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it really stems from, again, your state laws and regulations and also how you're paying them, right? I don't know if your assistant or your apprentice is going to be paid hourly, but I just think it's also on the payment structure, how you can do that legally. So, but don't worry, we'll send you some more info on that. June says, always late, even with same day notice. This just goes back to those no-show peeps. Oh, maybe it sounds, how late are they? Why don't you do the old, if they're always 15 minutes late, why don't you tell them that their appointment is 15 minutes earlier so that they end up being on time.
And you still charge for that time. I mean, the only issue that really is then there is if you can perform all of the services. And unfortunately, you may have to start cutting back on some of that service, but still, for me, still charging them what they would have paid with the blow dry and so forth. So you got to find ways on paper to figure out the money that you're losing with them when they're late all of the time. Typically hitting someone's pocket is a little bit easier but doing it in a nice way. I don't like when people berate their clients because life happens, but consistently late, yeah, that can be frustrating. But making sure you're compensating yourself for that time that they've wasted on you.
Absolutely. So if the reminders aren't even working with same day notice, we're gonna have to brainstorm creative ways if we want to keep them as a client and making sure you're compensated fairly. I know we're people and give, but at some point it's not fair to you.
Yeah, fill that space with somebody else maybe.
They're about 15 to 30 minutes late, she always said. Yeah, I would think about telling them at their appointments 30 minutes earlier and charging accordingly. So With the fees for the drop ship. I think I just went through the fees for the drop shipping. I just asked the fees for our drop ship program. If you, I can also just send you our drop ship program. It's like one little PDF, Marie. So let me make sure.
Mm-hmm.
So we can send you all of the resources you may need. That's obviously another way you might be able to supplement some of that income you were talking about when you make your transition from booth runner to suite owner. Totally appreciated. I share the same thoughts and appreciation for both brands. This was very helpful, Ashley. Thank you. You're welcome, David. That was during my head-to-head comparison. But I'm glad you enjoy the feedback. I don't like talking about other specific brands on these things, but if we're gonna ask, I want to give you a straight answer. So Kathy says, I have clients who complain about glass in the shower. It's slippery. I've advised them to put products in another container that's usually plastic. Do you have any recommendations of not transferring to plastic?
Honestly, they've got those awesome things that you can put in the showers now that are on the wall, similar to what they have in the high-end hotels. So all they have to do is pour it in there. And to be honest with you, then there's the option for them to purchase the larger bottles, almost like the back bar size, to refill those. They can keep them under their bathroom counter and just refill those. Nice. Those are very like sleek now, and they're very inexpensive, and it's a great way to even back up your recycling or your the mission, the eco mission that you're following through on. So they are inexpensive and really cool looking now. So they're the ones that mount in your shower.
Yeah. See, and then you have to with the amber glass as well. As long as they're not falling from a crazy shelf, it's probably most of the time. I don't want to say always, but they're not gonna break most of the times. It just because usually it's what from like the bathtub, like the edge of the bathtub to the inside of the shower or the floor. Most of the time, I've dropped them quite a bit, to be honest with you. They don't break. I'm not saying that's always the case because I've definitely had times with other glass products where things have broken, but I think someone had a really clever idea in our group. They bought salon koozies, like branded salon koozies, and they said, if you're truly afraid, why don't you just take this koozie home
That's awesome.
and put your product in it and put it on your shelf, because then even if it does fall, it's probably not going to break. And then I'm trying to think if there's some other tips to help you with people that have an aversion to glass. Yeah, you can always transfer them into plastic. Obviously, I think Rebecca had a really good recommendation with those little dispensers that you can hang from the showers. Those are cool. You can also, there's like little rubber stoppers that they can put on the bottom of them too, if that's another option for them. But I'll be honest, I haven't had that happen too much with anything breaking. And for me, I'm not really picking up products much in the shower. I'm just pumping because they do have those pumps. And then if not, they're mask, and you just, the masks are aluminum so they don't break. So I would also just talk to them about that. David said, yes, I've been testing them and truly enjoying the OA products, always very in line with my brand, and it's been the convincing factor. Well, I'm glad, David. I'm super happy that you've been enjoying the little bit you've been sampling. He's going to connect with you.
Oh, great.
And then Marie wants the 1099 information also.
Got it.
And then Jennifer says, I would love the drop ship info as well. It would be nice to get my clients the products since I can't sell at my current location. You got it, Jen Jones.
That's a good one, because a lot of places that are booth renter can't sell their own retail. So making sure you're on a drop ship program is a perfect way to do that, as well as to get your client base in your database.
But Jen, I've been watching the development of Creature, and I know you'll be ready to sell retail soon in your new space. I'm super excited for you. All right. Christina says, thank you for the session, Rebecca and Ashley. I found interesting information, even to me as a booth runner. Well, excellent. And that's what we wanted. We wanted, of course, it was called Salon Suite Week, but we wanted everyone to get a little something from this webinar. Yeah. All right, everyone. That runs through most of our questions, but go ahead, ask them up. This is our last open Q&A session of our 7-week program. So anything and everything, even if it's something really technical and it may be better sent to you later, just let me know now.
And I'm actually going to do something wild here. So anybody that doesn't have a question that they want to shout out right now or think of later, obviously we'll be around. However, if you want to type in a sort of quote or something, looking at the fun picture that I've taken and put so much time and efforts in looking so cute for you guys on the left of your screen there. If you want to put some sort of what I'm thinking or what I'm doing or something in the box and I pick you, I'm going to send you a free gift.
Ooh, guys, free gift. So you have to, again, just say, what you've thought about our training these past 7 weeks, or what you're thinking in a way that, what are you going to implement first? So tell us anything, what you learned, what you're going to do next, and you could win a little special prize from Rebecca. She didn't even tell me she was going to do that. How exciting. She's just cooler than me. And then Lisa asked, are there color stylist sampler packs as well for retail? Absolutely, Lisa. We have Try Me packages, and some of our Explorer package actually comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee, even on used products. I know people tend to, they go for the Try Me because it's 10 colors and a developer, any 10 colors of your choosing. But I'm a big fan, if you're really thinking that this is for you, to go straight for an Explorer package, because you get retail, a little bit of a retail sampling, color, and a couple more developer choices, and you get to pick all your colors in that as well. But most of all, what I love is the 30-day money back guarantee. The small Try Me package doesn't have the 30-day money back guarantee, but any of the other larger packages do. And the Explorer package also contains a shade chart, which I find to be extremely useful, especially if you're just starting to transition your clients into new colors. It's always fun to have an interactive shade chart for them to look at. So yes, long answer short, we do have color sample packs. You can give us a call at 888-213-4744 or go to shop.simplyorganicbeauty.com. Is a bonus June asks, is the bonus session next Monday, same time? It's Labor Day. Oh, smart, June. Well, I didn't quite announce when I was going to do the bonus session, but I'll probably end up doing it after Labor Day. So that's a good point, June. I'll be sending the date out soon, but you can pretty much plan for it to be maybe September 11th. And then we'll get into the business of being organic. Marie says, hells yeah.
Yeah, I like that one, Marie.
June says, made changes after last week's webinar right after it was over.
Great.
Jen Jones. She says she's aligning myself with Simply Organic, and OA was the best decision. Yeah. I can't wait to build a culture in my business and make more cha-ching.
That's a good one too.
Ooh, I'm excited now that we're getting into answers to Rebecca's question.
Hells yeah.
She said, I just graduated, ready to make some improvements. Well, congratulations to you for just graduating, Kay.
Yeah.
Ooh. Robert says, the whole summer course has been great. Can't wait to do some of the replays that I missed. I will probably get going on the online booking and also the neat receipt program, scanning them. I do get tired of all the paper trail. Yeah, absolutely. I'm a big fan of those and robot vacuums. I get a lot of my family members those things for Christmas. They're always a winner. So yeah, anyone standing still here? I think we have about 10 people that entered the contest of saying what you learned and what you hope to implement here soon. Then Rebecca's going to send you a prize. I have no idea what she has up her sleeve, but I'm intrigued. Can I enter?
Big money.
All right. So any lingerers out there? I won't read. Maybe you guys are nervous because I'm reading what you're saying. I won't read it out loud anymore. Even though I know you love when I narrate your questions. Cool. Excellent. Well, and also don't forget, right now we're having a social media contest in our private OA Facebook group for free t-shirts, Holistic Hair Tribe t-shirts for your whole team. All you had to do was say what being a holistic hairstylist means to you. So that was in our private Facebook group, our OA Holistic Hairstylist Forum. So there's many options for people to win a whole bunch of fun things today from Simply Organic and OA. Sweet. Thank you for your entry. Excellent. Rebecca?
Well, thank you guys. I think we're real excited here. So, lots of stuff that we learned. We feel smarter. We're not working so hard. We're just working smarter for the success of our businesses. And we're in line with that with you here at Simply Organic Beauty. So, it's been great getting to know you on here. Please stay in touch. We're going to have so much more to offer you, and education is key. And I love the power that it brings us. So, thanks for being on here and generating some excitement with us and for us. So, thank you.
Yes. Thanks everyone for joining us these past 7 weeks. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to feel a little empty every Monday not being on one of these webinars. I think we may have bonus sessions from here to eternity, just so we can continue to help you and your career and your business grow. But I do want to say thank you for everyone showing up and just even taking times to watch the replay, because this has been a lot of fun for Rebecca and I, and hopefully, most of all, it's been useful to you. So, if you have any feedback in general, or even some more topics you want us to cover in the future, send us an email. I know David and Rebecca have a date to talk about some men's grooming products, and I really open that up to all of you. I'm going to be sending out some of this information you guys requested. So, thank you so much for joining us for this 7 week program. It really has been a lot of fun, and I'm hoping that we can continue to do more fun things like this for you, no matter if you're a Simply Organic Beauty customer or not, because at the end of the day, we're very excited to change the industry and salons for the better. So thank you so much for these past 7 weeks. It's been real.
And we graduated.
All right, everyone. Thanks so much. We'll be sending out this replay in 24 hours. Thank you.